Hey everybody, this is Emmitt here with the What's Up Solar podcast. Today I am visiting Sinclair Design and Engineering here in Albion, Michigan. Great interview coming up, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Emmitt with the What's Up Solar podcast and just all around person in solar. I love this stuff. So I was at this conference and I see this beautiful young woman sitting behind the booth here, Tarah. And I was like, what do you do? She was like, we do racking. I was like, really? I was like, where are you located? She was like, we're in Michigan. To my surprise, as a Michigan native, Detroit 313-734 as well. I was like, how come I don't know you? And she was like, well, you should. I was like, I'm coming to visit. And she was like, huh? What? I was like, can I come visit your place? And she was like, come on up. So I'm here with the whole gang. Now, I'm going to ask you to go around the table and introduce yourself so that the camera knows who you are.
Yeah, I'm Kyle Sinclair, co-founder and CEO of Sinclair Designs Engineering.
I'm Tom Zeisser. I'm an executive account manager here at Sinclair.
I'm Tarah Riley. I'm the senior executive at Sinclair.
Dunley Stoltz, COO.
COO.
Yes, sir.
So you tell them what to do?
No.
Yeah,
I try not to.
he tells us.
I mean, he says he has 4 kids, so he's used to delegating or getting delegated to, right?
That's fair, yes.
So take me back to the history of that. I mean, like, I really wanted to know, a Michigan-based company, people are always talking about we need manufacturing, we need jobs in America, and you're doing just that. Here in Michigan, southeastern, is this southeastern or south central Michigan? South central Michigan. Mm-hmm. How did this get started? What was the impetus of this?
I ask myself that question every day, how we got started and how we got to where we are. It's an interesting story. My dad and I had always wanted to kind of build a business together.
Yeah.
My dad's an entrepreneur, spirit. His background is in tooling and manufacturing and SolidWorks design.
Old school.
Yeah, old school. And, just being around him, growing up, you can learn so much just shadowing him and trying to understand, the way he thinks. But our story really started when I was in high school, and my dad had approached me. And
in high school?
Well, yeah, just in high school, he kind of came to me and was like, look, I'm thinking about starting a business, and I'd love for you to take this journey with me, and I'll help pay for your school. Like, I still want you to go to college. I was planning on going to Michigan State University. So he's like, I'll cover your college expense. Work with me. Let's grow this thing. And at that age, I was way more interested in girls, right? And chasing girls. So, my thought was like, well, there's this girl I'm really interested in, and I don't think that working, in the pole barn was gonna give me my chance,
right.
So I decided to join the military. Thought I had a better chance chasing her in a military uniform. So I joined the Navy and had a really great career in the Navy, and I did wind up landing the girl. So I made the right choice.
There you go.
Been married for 15 years, 2 beautiful daughters. But eventually, the military life can be challenging, especially when you're wanting to start a family.
Oh, so you'd be gone for 6-8 months at a time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a pretty aggressive deployment schedule. I was fortunate, too. My time in the military was really lucky with timing. I joined a Navy Special Warfare Ground Unit as an intelligence analyst,
yeah.
and streamlined to a Navy chief pretty quickly. So I had a very prosperous career. But that time of wanting to settle down, wanting to have kids, wanting to focus more on family, was about 2014 is when my wife and I decided to move back to Michigan. And then I was the first employee of Sinclair Designs and Engineering. So my dad had started the company in 2007, it was basically a CNC machine shop.
He was waiting on you.
Yeah, I came in, was the first employee, and we took the company from 360 grand in sales my first year to 30 million in annual revenue over a 10-year window.
Wow.
And a lot of that was due to some government opportunities we had to support large antenna systems to be manufactured and shipped and installed, in some beautiful places around the world. And it was at the same time where we saw solar really starting to accelerate.
Yeah, 2008 is when it really kicked in because of financing, or fintech as they call it now. But 2014 was a pivotal year. So from there,
We started seeing it in Michigan. It's driving down the highways and going, holy cow, there's a solar farm here now. Like, where did that come from,
Yeah.
And so the thought is that, hey, we're investing this CapEx to grow our company and in these manufacturing capabilities for large antenna systems, which are large welded fabricated trusses and, panels and things like that. So the idea was, let's make sure in the equipment that we invest in that it also allows us to make similar products to what we're seeing going up in these fields.
Yeah.
These racking structures looks like I-beams and C-channels and C-purlins, right? So investing in roll formers, investing in stamping equipment. And then it was really my job at that point in time to really grow the team, put the people in the right positions to manufacture this product, make sure we're focusing on quality control, making sure we're selling this to the right customer target, which took a long time to figure that out, is what's our target customer? At first we started, it was really Dunley and I that was like, we want to be installers.
were you number two or were you number three?
I was probably about number 10. I think there was a few here when I got here, but
Yeah, Bob was number 2, still with us to this day, and Mike, I think, was number 3, and we saw the opportunity. When I hired Dunley, he was our first engineer.
Yeah.
Right, so I needed a licensed PE who could design, who could run the calcs, who could stamp these projects on our behalf. And then Dunley's a lot like me, where we like going to the sites and being a part of that installation process. So we bought pile drivers, and we put a small team together to go. And we were networking with all the EPCs in Michigan. We were calling Harvest Solar and Climax and Power Home Solar, before they went under, and introducing our product, but it was more tailored towards installation services. So that's where the void was in the market in Michigan, is you didn't have a lot of groups pile driving on residential installs.
So you were coming with the little Caterpillars and things, and
Yep, we were coming out with our skid steer and our Rambo pile driver, and we were offering our services to install the ground mounts for them.
oh,
So,
wow. And
that's
then-
how we got started.
So how did it lead you to? So you were doing the service while producing a product, or
Correct. So we were making our own product. We had a lot of hands-on with the other products that were out there. Iron Ridge, Sunmoto, Schletter back then when they were really, really popular.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
And Unirac, right? And so we got to see all of the pros and cons of, we didn't really like this application for this, we loved this about this, right?
Right.
And so we designed our own system to kind of be, to differentiate ourselves, number one, and to be more cost effective. Because we realized soon, like, wow, this is expensive. And it's a lot cheaper for us to just make it ourselves.
Yeah.
There's also risk to that, but our risk was low because we invested in the equipment for other products for a different market. So we're able to utilize the machinery and the equipment to make products for solar. And that's where the big turn was, is when we started installing and we started doing the services, the calls started coming in for the product and less for the services.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So as a domestic producer of content, were there any hurdles for you to be known as that when you're starting out small? And a lot of people, you got the ULs that you have to satisfy, CSA you may have to satisfy for. What was that process?
It was challenging. We had designed our product for specific niche for Michigan installs, and then as the EPC calls started coming in that, hey, we're more interested in your product. What's your warranty? You know, are you UL listed? Are you wind tunnel tested? We're sitting here going, no.
Are you snow load tested?
Like, do I need to be?
Right.
You know, and like I have a licensed P on staff that runs the calcs and approves the structure, but we didn't have those certifications, so we had to start going through those processes, and that led to ISO 9001. That led to BABA, IJAA, you know, FIOC, all the new requirements from changes in legislation. So we wanted to do things right, and we wanted to sell a product that was had the appropriate certifications.
So because you manufacture here, you're in the Midwest. So you have the East Coast that is easy to you. You have the middle of the country, maybe not the West Coast. Do you find that as a competitive advantage for you being here in Michigan?
Not necessarily. I do find the competitive advantage in procurement.
Really?
Because we're surrounded by the big three.
And steel mills.
Right?
Yeah.
We've got the Midwest mills. So from a pricing standpoint, we can get pretty cost effective if we procure our materials at the right time. But from a geographical area, I mean, the Midwest is booming with solar installs, specifically Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
So being close to Illinois, there's definitely an advantage there. But our products, our original product, our C-channel design is kind of niche to specific soil conditions.
Yeah.
Once you go more towards the East Coast, you know,
it gets rocky.
That's right. And so above grade ballast, a lot of groups use ground screws out there, or I-beam is a more prevalent choice for higher rates of refusals for pile drivers. So through that time, we had to learn that, you know, and we had to diversify and innovate our products to be able to accommodate new customers in new geographical areas.
So when did you start to hire these folks here?
Oh gosh, Tarah was one of my first. She was early on.
2020.
I was struggling, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business, you're doing everything.
You're running.
Wearing every hat, you're working 25 hours a day, you know, like it was wild. And so, you know, it was like, okay, as we grew, I needed key people. And when I first hired Tarah, it was in a supervisor role for my hardware division. So we were having to kit all this hardware, we were having to procure hardware, we were having to pack it, put it in boxes, go through the checklist, ship it out to customers. So I brought her on board to manage that for me. And she killed it. She made that program her own, never had questions, just kind of ran with it. So she was a rising star, you know, that took a lot of heavy weight off my shoulders. Someone you could rely on.
Some Jackson women. You got to watch them.
No, I'm from Milwaukee.
See, I was trying. I stand corrected.
Hiring, you know, and growing the team is challenging. It's, you know, it's hard to find good talent.
Yeah.
It's hard to find people that are reliable and you know, Tarah was one of the few that was like, she saw my vision, she saw the company growing, you know, she wanted to be a part of it. So she grew with us and is now an equity manager and holds equity in the company.
Speaking of talent, when it comes to finding talent, or especially in this day and age, there's not a lack of people, there's a lack of knowledge. Do you find that you have to invest in a lot of people when they come on board? Particularly because this is a niche market compared to the global market.
Yeah, we have to invest in training. You know, training is critical when it comes to quality control and safety. You know, we have to adhere to certain conformances and regulations. So when we hire people, we do invest in that training to make sure our parts are made right.
Okay.
As a manufacturer.
So, Tarah, I'm going to switch to you. So I met you, and you were running the booth. What's your vision?
What's my vision?
Yeah, what's your vision? You know, we were talking about, hey, I was like, I didn't know you guys were here, and you're like, yeah, we're here. Mm-hmm. And we went through a walk in the back, and you have such cool things happening in the back. But who needs to know that you're here now?
That that's why I feel like the connection of meeting you is most beneficial, because I do believe we have an amazing product that is tried and true. We've been through hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes. Once I found out that other systems are made with actual fence poles, I understood from where we are in the market for what I'm seeing from going to all these expos, there's more room for us to be known and grow. And once we do, I feel like that's the catalyst to get us to that scaling growth. And
Yeah, I mean,
that's my mission.
yeah, because for me, it's the Michigan. It's always home. And when you find people who are from your neighborhoods, you just get excited. You're like, it's like when you go like somewhere else and somebody has like a Michigan hat on,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, and that was kind of the thing. And it was just random. I was like, what do you do? And I literally had no clue. I saw this big, handsome gentleman sitting there, and he was just like, I'm with her. So what would you like, what would this go to in the future? What's your goal outside? I'm talking about on the manufacturing side.
Mm-hmm.
Are things changing where you're adapting your product?
Always. Our product always has to adapt every year because our product is custom to the modules.
Really?
Yes. So we don't, that's where we wanted to separate ourselves. Like, yes, we have a turnkey residential system with clamps that can be stocked and distributed, from Green Tech or ABC Supply Co.
Yeah.
or Zona Energy. But our true bread and butter is in commercial. And it's designing the systems to direct bolt to the panel frames. And those panel frames change every year.
Yeah.
They get wider, they get longer, they have
Yeah,
different hole patterns.
Modules,
So our tooling has to adhere to those changes.
Yeah.
And so we got to stay ahead of it.
And residential can be pretty much standard once you get that kind of dialed in.
You would think that, and then, you think like, we started getting those calls. One interesting sales channel we do is the preppers of the world.
Oh yeah, they're growing.
do-it-yourselfers.
They're growing.
Yeah. That was in a channel we expected to thrive in, right? We started getting the calls just because our system was on YouTube. Someone saw it install it, and they're like, I want that,
Yeah.
It's season adjust. They can use our manual people to set the angles of their ground mounts, to optimize production. And a lot of
Wait. Stop there. You said manual cranks?
Mhm.
So that means it's a manual tilt or shut the front door.
So yeah, on the resi side, it's funny, we started getting those calls, and it was, we kind of designed that system specific to Michigan,
Yeah.
to our customers, especially in the UP.
Yeah, because we
5 foot
get
snow.
cold here. You get crazy winds because it can be tornado alley in some spots.
Mhm.
You get crazy humidity. You get rain, so your soil is going to get saturated in some spots and might get soft, and we don't have a lot of rock, so it's usually dirt that you're going in.
That's right.
So
Clay.
you got to make sure it's set.
Yep. And so we, our goal, our vision for the season adjust was for the guys up north, where it's, when you run the production analysis, 60 degrees is kind of the perfect angle, for your setting your system to from October to March.
Yeah.
Which is, we being up north, half of our year is winter, right? So it made sense to design and sell that product here. But what we weren't expecting is all the calls we were going to get from Florida, South Carolina,
Yeah.
Texas, all the people that want them, where it's like, you don't really value a whole lot, you can kind of set the system to 15 to 25 degrees.
Yeah.
But they wanted that extra 5-10 degrees, to optimize their production. So we didn't realize, one, how big the market actually was. It also differentiated our products from a lot of the other players in the U.S. market from a distribution standpoint. So we're the only system that's stocked for national distribution that offers a season adjustable option to the customers. So the distribution channels saw that as, well, that's a win because your season adjustable system is cheaper than the other competitors' fixed tilts.
So with that, how do these key players here help you out? We know how Tarah does it. We know how Mr. COO does it. And then we got big beautiful guy here.
Tom, that's fine.
No, I'm just trying to throw it out at you, man. Because I met you two at the show, and you were so open, and I was really appreciative of how open you were about. You didn't know me. You probably saw me at NAPSAP running like a crazy man with his head cut
I did.
off.
I was afraid someone was chasing you.
Yeah, people were chasing me.
Nope.
They were trying to get interviewed. But what was your goal there?
So I'm probably, you got employee number 1, would you say 5 or whatever? I'm like number 100 and some change. I'm relatively new. I just retired from the Army last January.
I could see that.
And very stiff, very robotic, yeah, I know. But I came on last July, and it has been a whirlwind. And you mentioned to Kyle earlier about investing in people, investing in their training, educating them, because it's such a niche market. I didn't know anything about solar. I've never even seen a solar panel in the Army other than on the highway. Yeah. And so Kyle invested time into me and brings me to these things so that I can learn from everybody. Being an account manager here with Green Tech, specifically, I had to learn fast, very fast, because they work at a very high rate. Yeah. Learning the terms that they use is kind of a familiar thing to me because the Army just makes up acronyms about everything. It's not that different. I just had to learn the acronyms here and kind of figure that out and make sure that I'm just meeting whatever needs are required for the day. And, you and everybody else being a part of the solar industry understands these changes, panel changes, actually array changes, everything changes as we're doing this project development. And so just keeping that open mind, working, learning, never being too old to learn something new, right? Has been a key component to my education in solar, and just going to these conferences to just talk with other people from other groups has given me a ton of insight, ton of knowledge. And so I know what I look like, but I am very open and I'm very easy to talk to.
What do you mean you know what you look like?
I know what I look like. It's a toss up. Either I'm like, just got out of prison, or I'm just got out of the military and I'm kind of uptight. But
people think I'm a cop.
Okay.
I don't know.
I get that. You seem very straight laced. But yeah, it's just fascinating to be a part of this. I never in 100 years would have thought I would have had any interest in doing this. Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with just being a part of this group, being a part of this company. It's like a family. It's not like a company. You're not a number. Like we all have conversations. We talk every day, and yes, he is in charge of us. However, I know that I can go talk to Dunley about anything, and he'll answer my questions. I can go to the owner and the CEO of the company and be like, hey man, I don't know what this is. Can you help me out? And he'll take the time and help me. I can go talk to Tarah about anything, literally anything, and she can answer my questions. So it's just a fantastic place to be a part of, and it keeps me engaged, keeps me learning, keeps me interested in solar.
This is what I appreciate. I used to work for this company in Belleville, Michigan. There were 14 employees, and I was a total nerd. It was a spectroscopy company. So I built machines that analyze metal for their elements down to the parts per billion. And that small group of people was around the world. And I appreciated the flexibility, learning environment that you get for small companies, because that's what America was built on. It was built on agriculture and very small companies like this one that grow to large companies and employ people. So first of all, let me thank you and thank your dad when you say Emmitt says thanks for doing that. Where do you see yourself in the future?
Well,
Let's say, I'll give you some years because we're going through some crazy times right now. Let's say 4.5 years. Not 5, 4.
It's, as a business owner, especially in manufacturing, our success is really tied to, the economy and GDP. And so I think we're in a really unique position to grow over the next 2 to 3 years. obviously everything impacts our markets.
Yeah.
Steel is the blood of this company, right? So steel pricing is critical to, our manufacturing processes and our customers that we support. And so to be competitive in this market, steel needs to be competitive. So I think that we're in this unique window where the company's going to grow. The demand for solar is increasing. Electricity prices aren't dropping.
No.
Our one other thing that has been very interesting is that our competition has been acquired, right? You've seen strategic acquisitions
Schletter.
routinely over the last 5-year window. And every time that happens, we gain more market share because normally a strategic buyer comes in, they buy that company and their prices go up. So we've had a lot of success from that. I also think that right now in the market, there's a big trend in data centers and renewable energy power. And the amount of power that's required for those, normally they're shifting their focus towards utility trackers. And so what's happened is a lot of our competition who was big into fixed tilt early on pivoted more towards trackers. APA, ATI, Game Change, a lot of the big players. And so the fixed tilt arena has kind of opened itself up to more market share for us. And so I think if we stay focused and we do what we're good at and we just continue to innovate and improve our current product, that will grow over the next 5 years.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for having me here and accepting me into your facility. And I look to do big things with you.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey, this is Emmitt with the What's Up Solar Podcast, hanging out in Michigan. It's a beautiful day. It's windy, but the sun is shining. There are solar arrays all up and down I-94 for me to just gawk at slightly because I'm driving and head back home. Hey, till next time. Remember one thing, though. You know this, you know this, you know this, and you know this. One thing the sun has never done is sent us a bill. Till next time, peace.
Hey, Emmitt.
Who are you?
I'm Tom Zeisser. I'm an Executive Account Manager here at Sinclair.
Hey, Emmitt.
Who are you?
I'm Tarah Riley. I'm the Senior Executive Manager at Sinclair Designs Engineering. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful.
But I have one question for you.
And what's that?
Who's this guy?
That is Cognac. And every day, if it ever gets too tough, I always ask myself, what would Ye do? See ya.
Hey, Emmitt.
What's up, Cap? Who are you?
I'm Dunley Stoltz, the COO.
What does a COO do?
Chief Operating Officer. Pretty much whatever they need me to do from a day-to-day basis. So I wear a lot of different hats.
I like the fact that you're Captain America.
Yeah. Well, thank you. My wife bought me that a few years ago for my birthday, and I decided to put it up.
I got a real quick question. Who do you work for?
Sinclair Designs Engineering.
That's a nice green tech hat.
Hi, Emmitt. I'm co-founder and CEO of Sinclair Designs Engineering. I'm basically the on-station fireman. That's my role, just to put out fires, but support my team the best I can. They pretty much handle everything, so my job's the easy one.
You got a good team, too.
I do. Very lucky.